We come now to the third type of presentation that takes place in a project, steering committee meetings. These are meetings where the project manager presents the status of the project to the members of the steering committee, often members of general management, also the sponsor of the project. He or she presents the status, progress made, issues raised, solutions found, and quite often decisions that the steering committee needs to take in order to move ahead with the project. So quite an administrative, sometimes also bureaucratic meeting. Are there any ways to animate this kind of meeting and to make it more effective by means of presentation skills, Thomas?
Absolutely. I mean, again, one of the keys is that you yourself are enthusiastic about this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you don't have to jump around, but what I hate to see is somebody up there who already thinks, this is boring.
Yeah.
If the presenter himself or herself thinks it's boring, that will transport to the audience. The audience will see, oh, this person is not enthusiastic about this, is not energetic, not excited. So you need to show some involvement, some positive energy about this.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And the can-do attitude. Yeah, you feel we can make it happen. We can do this.
Yeah.
So that's an important piece. Then another important piece is the sponsor is behind you. He knows what is going to happen during this meeting.
Yep.
So if there's opposition from somebody in the audience, the sponsor can always jump in and support you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I mean, he might not have all the details, but he knows in general what is going on, which traffic light is red, which is yellow, and which is green. And he has a background information about what the obstacles are. I mean, what are common obstacles? Some of your resources can't spend the time on the projects because they've been pulled away from some other high-level person in the organization. So it's like, I can't deliver. I'm behind. I can't meet the deadline. Okay, that's a typical one. So the sponsor needs to be behind you.
Mm-hmm.
So that will make the whole thing, well, more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
You will get the support you need.
Yeah.
So you can't do everything by your own. That's why you have a team. That's why you have a sponsor. That's why there are people there. And as in general, think of it this way. These people are there to help you. These people are there to support this initiative because after all, they've decided to go ahead with it. So think of them as supporters in the first place. This is also a mental attitude. If you see them as supporters, you won't see questions so much as a challenge or as something that they don't want to make you look bad most of the time. Yeah, there might be some politics going on that this could happen, but in general, start out with an attitude that these are supporters. They want your success.
Yeah.
If they have a question, it's because there is something they are interested in.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so a question shows interest, and that's a good thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's also a piece that will then be an interaction.
Mm-hmm.
So it keeps people awake. That's what you want to do, especially if you have these bureaucratic, boring pieces there.
Right.
Now, you need to think about how many things do you want to highlight? Because really, these meetings should highlight pieces and not tell them everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's where a good traffic light system comes in handy. So you have pieces of the project, maybe you have several projects there, or you have a certain matrix that shows, okay, everything's here running smoothly, so that will be in the color green.
Yep.
And you have something that might have a little bit of a difficulty. You can see on the horizon, if this or the other happens, then that might turn red. So that I put it to yellow right now. And then you have certain things that are in red because that's really what we need to discuss and take decisions on. Again, back to the point I made earlier in another video, it's about decision taking. And you as a project manager have a certain degree of decisions that you can take, but many times you need others to sponsor and then the steering committee, in this particular case, to take a decision. Should we go ahead with this or not? How do we get those resources back onto my project? Or do we allow for it to be late? It's a decision they have to take. And it's not up to you. It's not your fault that certain people aren't there or that were planned to be there. So here it's again about the involvement, it's about the interaction, it's about highlighting things. And depending on the audience analysis, you might even inject some humor.
Okay.
Yeah, sometimes that works, but sometimes it doesn't, of course. Depending again, what is your relationship with the people you're in the room with?
Yeah.
What is your persona? What's your personality? Are you a rather humorous person, which makes you most likely more likable? Yeah, people who can get other people to laugh, to smile, they are likable. They will get ahead more easily than people who are totally deadly earnest. Deadly earnest people, they might do a great job, but it's a pity because other people don't want to go and have a coffee with you because you're so deadly earnest. So anyway, those are a few pointers I want to make as to a steering committee meeting. Same thing with the slides. You most likely have a slide. You have a chart that shows how you're moving forward. You'll have a slide showing the colors, green, yellow, and red, with the issues that you need to treat and with the things that you plan to go ahead with, and in particular, what do you want them to take a decision on to help you move forward.
Perfect. And everything in the same kind of energy as the one during the kickoff meeting, the same enthusiasm, exactly.
You know, let's put this on a scale from 1 to 10.
Yeah.
Now in the kickoff, and again, it's also a question of who is your audience.
That's right.
I mean, I'm sure you've seen some American speakers, they get on stage and they go, oh, yeah, everybody say, yeah, and really loudly, yeah. And there are certain cultures that don't go along with that. They're not used to this. They're like, ooh. And they might even say, oh, that's typical American.
Yeah.
And it is, to a certain extent, typical American, okay? So look at your audience. Now, sometimes you might have an energy level of 8 or even 10, I don't know. Whereas in a committee meeting, a steering committee meeting, you might have an energy level, again, depending on the audience, between maybe 5 and 8, and the variation makes it interesting.
Right, yeah.
It shouldn't be the same all the time. It's like this with your volume. So if you always speak with the same volume, people will no longer listen to you. Because it becomes a monotone. Yeah. As soon as something is the same, it becomes monotone. Patricia Fripp, a coaching colleague of mine, also for presentation skills, she talks about the sameness. If things have sameness, they become boring. Even though they might be kind of good. But let's say I'm a handsome young man, but I always wear the same clothes. Well, either it becomes a brand, like Steve Jobs, okay, you could do that, or it becomes boring because it's always the same. Now, I'm probably not as famous and as branded yet that I can and should wear the same thing all the time. Get my point? So try to get away from sameness.
Okay.
Variation is the key. That will make you more successful. That will make your steering committee members more likely to listen to you as opposed to looking at their smartphones and their laptops. Which reminds me of the point that you might have had also established some rules with them that they shouldn't be using those things. Ideally, the CEO supports this effort. So people don't get distracted and they actually listen. Then it's worth being there. They, establish those rules, how to work together.
Okay. Great.
That
Thanks for your advice.
With your job as a project manager, I'm sure you will be successful.
Exactly. Thanks. Thanks a lot.
It was a pleasure. Thank you.